Hello, dear listener. I thought I'd start this like Danny normally does and come in all softly, softly. And we are ABW and we're back for the second show of this season. We are an ABW Live, but we're not an ABW Live. We'll let Jason do all the marketing talk. Unfortunately, we can't be joined by our captain because he's gone on strike. He's not here. Jason isn't here. The other pirate captain, he's not here either. So I'm joined by the man who has spent the last week destroying the Northern Line. Karl, how's it going?
It was a wonderful time. Nah, do you know what? I need to apologize. And I don't usually do this because I don't really care. But if you used the Northern Line over the last week, I sincerely apologize. It was horrendous. But spare a thought for me as well, because I'm the person who had to sort it out. So, you share the pain, I share the pain.
Yeah, absolutely. And before I go to the man that is always here, we'll talk about some other people who are always here and always join us in the chat box. You can see Ben Murphy's in there. We've got Daz316, Kennedy A. Who was first in there? MJL. He was in there first. Ryan Cost. And someone who I can go from. We got Loki73, Stan the Man 450, Gunner 93, or Gunner 93, and Alan Cracker. And now I'll introduce the man who's also in there. No, it's not David. It's not the Goonerholic. It is Mr. Bergkamp Wonderland himself, Danny the GFP.
Fucking hell, it took long enough to get to that. Get on with it.
He's not here. Captain's gone. On strike.
Yes. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
You had a good summer? Doing nothing?
How dare you? I've had a lovely active summer watching all the football because it never stops, people.
Oh, dear. The Women's World Cup was pretty good, though.
I think I watched the least of that because I was watching the Africa Cup of Nations, the Cup of America.
Mexico beat USA 1-0, didn't they?
Yeah, that was the Gold Cup that was on as well.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody who's a hipster. Oh, the under-21s as well.
They had
a
nightmare, didn't they?
And Bielik had a bit of a nightmare. Yeah. Less about that. But should we start with the show? I think we will.
Good idea.
Yeah. Should we start with last time we were on with Jason Dom? We have played a game. Danny, do you want to talk us through a little bit with Boreham Woods with our first kind of pre-season game?
Yeah, we always, in the olden days, it used to be we'd start the season off with a pre-season friendly against Barnet. And I was there when Yaya Toure played for Arsenal. We beat Barnet 10-1 on that day. This time last year, we played Boreham Wood. I think we beat them 8-0. And this time we played them, we drew 3-3. And I think we were actually, I'm just looking at George Bird's site here. I think we were 3-1 down at one point. And then we come back to be 3-3 with Hein in goal. I think he is from Finland, somewhere like that. And, might be Latvia. I don't know. Somewhere with blue and white in the flag.
Estonia.
Swanson at right back, McGuinness centre back, Zach Medley, who we've heard of at centre back, Thompson left back in midfield, Smith and Burton, and then playing behind Balogun was Tormi, Oleinka and Coyle. But it was the man from the Ministry of Sound. What's his first name? John Jules. What's his Judge, that's it. Judge John Jules from the Ministry of Sound Party. He came on, scored 2 goals, got it back to 3-3. It was Steve Bold's first game in charge of the under-23s. And, Tyrese, there you go. He wasn't Judge. You told me a lie. You're a big bad man. And it was all right. You don't really expect too much from games like that. There's hardly any first-team players are involved in that. Plenty of under-18s that have been involved. And good to see us getting some goals because that's something that we lacked at the end of last season when Ramsey went off injured. So, yeah, it's nice. But then the real summer tour begins soon, doesn't it? We're going off to the US of A. We're playing Colorado Rapids. And it says we're playing at home to Bayern Munich. We're not. Oh, no, it's a neutral venue. Yeah, but the Colorado Rapids game is 16th, which is next Tuesday. And that is at 2 Munich at 4 a.m. kickoff. A couple of days after that, playing Fiorentina. It's an 11 p.m. kickoff. And then we're playing Real Madrid at a midnight kickoff. I think all 4 of those are going to be in the USA somewhere. If you want to know where they were, and if you're in the USA, go and look for the Gooners podcast. Mike and Andy had 4 people representing the different areas of the Arsenal supporters groups in America, and they all talked about what they're going to be doing, like having what's it when they open their hatchbacks and they chuck a barbecue in the boot of their car.
Tailgate party.
That's it. Yeah. So all their cars will be on fire because they'll have a barbecue in the back of their Mazdas or their Fiat Pandas or whatever it is they have over there, and they're doing loads of stuff. They're having everything arranged for like the day. Before the event starts, and then having stuff the next day. They're organising drinks and meetups, and they're all going in hand and doing all those wonderful things. Whereas it was in this country, we don't talk to each other. We just walk in, complain, and walk out and go home. So they really are making massive events out of all of it. And then we've got the Emirates Cup, which is down to 1 game now. On Sunday the 28th, we're playing Lyon. It's a 2:15 kickoff. So we'll play 1 game, another 2 teams will play 1 game, and then we'll probably lose. Or they'll rig it, so it'll be goals conceded in the second half will get you the most amount of points. And then it says here that we're playing Angers, a French team, on the 31st of July. And I don't know what that's for. And we're also playing Barcelona.
Yep.
That's a nice way, just a week before the season starts, a hammering by Barcelona. And there you go, that's our pre-season tour.
Yeah, so Karl, the tour squad got announced with a few surprising names on it, and one name that has now been struck out. Should we talk about our captain, our grateful captain?
Well, I mean, I guess we have to, because the breaking news today was our captain, Koscielny, refused to go on the tour. At the moment, we're only getting one side of the story. I guess everyone can surmise, and I'm sure everyone's been on Twitter and everyone's sort of seen, everyone's got their own theories of why he's refused to go and the reasons behind it. And until, I guess, Koscielny comes out and states the reasons why, we'll never know. Us fans will never know. Personally, and we're all going to be split on whether the club did the right thing or didn't do the right thing. Personally, I think the club could have handled the situation better. However, I'm glad that they told the truth, because this nonsense about, he's injured and he won't be joining the tour. I'm glad that the club have finally come out and just, for years and years now, I think players have been holding the club to ransom, and Arsenal have always gone down the route of, are the players injured? That's why they're not playing this game. Are the players injured? That's why they're not coming on tour. It's a showdown at the moment between our club captain and the club itself. I don't think that, you never air your dirty laundry in public. This is old saying. My mum said it from that I was little, and it's kind of something that goes around in life. However, I do think Koscielny's in the wrong a little bit. I'll be honest with you. He has a contract with Arsenal. He's obligated to fulfill that contract until such time the contract expires. Within the contract, he has to play for the club and do pre-season tours and whatever the case may be. He has failed to live up to his contract. So therefore, I think that the club have kind of done the right thing and kind of outed him. However, it's just the way they've done it, I don't think is the best. What are your thoughts on it, Josh?
Yeah, I'd agree with kind of where we've been at. It's like a changing of the guard. I think under Wenger, this kind of thing wouldn't have come out in such a way. I think now that Sanye's come in, I think we were a bit more aggressive, should we say, a bit more blunt. This is something that, even when we've had this before with captains wanting to leave and kind of, throw a fit. We saw Cesc Fabregas do exactly the same for us, and some people want him back, right? Some people would happily have taken Cesc back with open arms. And presumably the same people that have just said, right, that's it. Koscielny, get out of my club. It's exactly the same that we saw from them. And it's just interesting how we've dealt with it, because I think all the Fabregas stuff kind of came out, years down the line that, he was, taking his passport, going off to the Grand Prix and just not joining in and refusing to play for us to force the move through to Barcelona. I think with Koscielny, perhaps it's a little bit different, that I think we might be able to get probably half a season out of him next year. But it is one of those that I think does come across as a little bit selfish, seems a little out of character. But we don't know what happens behind the scenes. But Danny, you've seen far more captains than I have. You've certainly seen some of or remember the worst ones, like the Gallases of this world, better than presumably I do. But what did you feel about this as a kind of long-suffering supporter of Arsenal?
Well, it seems that if what we've heard in the papers, I say in the papers, no one reads papers. If we take what's written online, it seems that he has said he wants to go to Bordeaux. There was rumours at the end of last season that he wanted to go back to Lorient and finish his career there. But they didn't get promoted from League 2 last season. They're still in there with my mighty Karl fighting it out for promotion. So he isn't going to go from being a French international, a captain of Arsenal, and go and play for a French second division team when he's only, 33, something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it looks like this time, like I was going to say, against Atletico Madrid in 2018 Europa League semi-final, he got injured and we thought, that's it, he's never playing for the club again. He came back at the second half of last season and he looked magnificent at times. I think at one point he played 9 out of 10 games. But the whole time we know that if he's going to get another injury, he's going to be knackered. He's got 1 year left on his contract. Arsenal have got an option for another year for 21-22. And then, so I think he's roughly on about 100 grand a week, somewhere between 90 and 110 grand a week. I would be looking at Arsenal going, you've given us magnificent service. You only cost us 8.9 million or whatever it was all those years ago. And if that ankle goes, if your Achilles goes, because everyone knows he needs daily work on that. Even if he's not playing, he still needs work on it. That could go at any moment. And when that goes, your career could possibly be over like we all thought it was. And you're never going to play again. And we'll be paying your wages for the next 2 years. I would look at it. You've served us well. You didn't cost us much. You want to go to Bordeaux. You're saving us 100 grand a week. We've got that young bloke coming in who we're sending out on loan immediately. Then we could keep Callum Chambers, and we've got some other players at the club. We could possibly bring someone in now. We've freed up 100 grand because there's lots of free transfers going around, players that are out of contract. All these things. And I'd just say, well, cheers. You've done us a great deal. But the club don't. The club have gone full, I don't know what they've gone full Game of Thrones. They've shamed him on their website. They've made him stand naked on the website. Everyone's chucking tomatoes at him and going, forget about what you've done for the club, nearly ruining yourself as a human being with the injuries you've had. We're going to shame you like the dirty little trout that you are, and we're going to make you look like a twat. We're going to make the club look like a twat, and we're going to make everyone else look like a twat. I don't agree with it. Maybe say if Bordeaux want him, a nominal fee of £1 million, something like that, and then let him go if he wants to go.
Whereas, I'm going to play devil's advocate right now, Danny.
Cheeky.
I know. Right. So, okay, we let him go for £1 million, and yeah, it frees up 100 grand on wages. Who do we get? My issue is that, as reported, Arsenal do not have money to spend. Now, if you're going to try bringing someone of Koscielny's level,
Experience.
An experience, you're right. It's going to cost you more than £1 million. And I know you said there's free transfers going around. Who are we going to get? Team Cahill?
No, no, we don't want him.
No, yeah, Gary Cahill.
Gary Cahill, that's the one. Gary Cahill, sorry, my bad. So,
Timmy Cahill, we'd have him back in a blinking of an eye. Don would love that. Imagine that.
Yeah, right, here we get Gary Cahill. So you're saying that all these players floating about, but where are they? There's not, and we're not going to get someone of Koscielny's caliber to come to the club for £1 million, regardless if you have 100 grand a week to spend. So I can see where the club's coming from. Like, we are low on defenders as it is already. We need defenders, and right now we are struggling to bring in anyone. It seems, we'll go into the transfers later, but centre back is somewhere that we really need to improve. And yeah, you could talk about Callum Chambers and Rob Holding coming back, but are these players at the level? Is Callum Chambers at the level of Koscielny? Now, I'm not saying Koscielny is the best defender in the world. By all means, no way, because I had my criticisms about him last year as well. However, I still think that he's better than Chambers at the moment. I genuinely do. And we're just not going to get anybody to come in for £1 million or with the wages that we've got. So I can see why the club is holding on. And also, he has a contract. I mean, we don't know what the club said at the end of the season or what talks have happened behind closed doors. But at the end of the day, he has a contract that he should fulfill. Arsenal, like you said, Arsenal are paying him 100 grand. And he has signed a contract to say, I will play for Arsenal and you will pay me 100 grand. You need to fulfill the contract that you have. No, I don't agree with the way the club's gone about it. I really don't. And, Banter FC has been full effect today because Arsenal just literally, there's talks about people talk about, oh, Pogba, he's refused to do this and that, blah, blah, blah. But he still turned up to their preseason. He's gone on tour with Man United. Our club captain, the man who everyone here to look to, the man who, who's supposed to guide the players on the pitch, has come to the club and said, I am not going on tour with you. Flat refused. Now, what kind of what kind of message on signal does that send to our younger players coming through, that you can just do what you want and get away with it? Nah, that's not right for me.
True. Got a good point. Josh?
Yeah, absolutely. Just looking in the chat box, see who we've got in there as well. Stefan Selby, he's turned up. He's presumably still at work, because I've heard all his excuses this week for why he won't come and play FIFA with me. We've got Archie, Jade T. The robots will eat you. That is a worrying name. Robots don't need to eat. Why do they want human flesh?
They need protein to keep them going so they can dominate.
I've watched Futurama. They just need alcohol. That's fine.
Good.
And got Brandon Jason Grosso in there as well, with a great point as well. Says, but we want Zaha to kind of force a move. And, a couple of weeks ago, he was saying exactly that. He never wants to turn out for Palace again, because he wants to come to his boyhood club of Arsenal. Oh, Danny, is this one of those things that we're annoyed because it's one of our players?
Possibly. I don't think we know all what's going on at the moment, because the club have seemed to have dropped him straight in it, and we haven't heard Koscielny's side. And far too often in these things, everyone will be making their decisions without knowing the full facts. Maybe Chris was suggesting that Chris doesn't know anything. None of us know anything. We're just all guessing, because that's all you can do in a situation like this. That maybe there was some kind of gentleman's agreement that he has 1 year, that he finishes last season, and then they'll let him go. Oh, here you go, Dave. Mr. Goonaholic has put laughable. Rambo runs out his contract. The club should have sold him. Cos wants out with a year to go. The club are right. Keep him. Make up your minds. I think that's the problem, Dave. Nobody really knows. So until more information comes out, but I can't see the club just letting him go. Yeah. So maybe he's just maybe.
Go on. Is there any way back now? Do you think, can you honestly see Laurent Koscielny putting on an Arsenal shirt and playing a game for us now, ever again?
I don't know, but we do need him. Unless we're gonna they've had some players that Abidal. He's just left Italy and he's gone back to Spain. I think he's 33 and he went for £3.5 million. Now that's a player that we've been linked with before. There was one of those ones, the Greek bloke Roma. Josh, hasn't he just gone for? Didn't they just meet his
yeah, he went to
release clause 25 million, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's just gone as well. I think it's one of those that we could certainly get money for him. And I think it's irrespective of the gentleman's agreement, I think best what we probably said to him is, we would let you go if someone came in for you. And, he's got a load of options that, there's many clubs that he's been linked with in France. I think it's like Marseille, Lyon, Rennes, all linked within Bordeaux as well, as you said, Danny. I think it's just it's one of those, they just need to come in and give us something as well, because I don't think letting him go for a free really gives us anything.
I don't think that will happen, not when there's 2 years left on his contract. Stefan makes a good point. He says, most people were quite shocked today, both the cause and the club. This is not how things are done at Arsenal. And there you go. Yeah,
absolutely. We've generally kept all this kind of information
in-house always.
In-house. I think one of the things that perhaps kind of has come out, and perhaps we've gone too far the other way, was, when it was coming out that we were a soft touch at Arsenal. So it's one of those, when you kind of keep poking someone who's just quiet, and eventually they snap and go over the top and go too far the other way.
A bit like when we bully Chris one day, we all know he's going to blow. And when he blows, everyone's going to get the hairdryer treatment.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a little bit like that I think we've gone a little too far the other way with how we dealt with it. It'll be interesting to kind of see when he does go, what kind of send-off we give him in terms of, a bit like West Ham did with Marco Arnautovic.
That was hilarious.
He finally got his move. So we should move on from this. But Josh, what do you think was going to happen in 2 or 3? By the time the season starts, where do you think we're going to be with the COS situation?
I'd imagine we'd have it all rectified by that point.
And what will that be?
We certainly have a new captain in place. I think that would be the minimum that we have. I think a question we could go on to is who do we think should be our next captain? I will continue to drive the Hector bus on that one. Yep. But yeah, what about you, Karl? Where do you think we kind of end up? Do you think it is a case of new captain seems inevitable? Who's most likely? And who do you think, or who would you like as well?
Like you, Josh, I think Hector Bellerin should be our new club captain. I think he's the epitome of Arsenal. You know, he's young, he's hungry. You know, he's got a lot of people that I think will support him. And I think gone are the days of, you know, the John Terrys and the Tony Adams and the Patrick Vieira captain styles. You know, the more vocal captains. I don't think they exist anymore, to be honest. And I think he has a lot of respect to Bellerin, so definitely I am on board that bus as well. The Koscielny situation, my personal opinion is that I don't think he will be an Arsenal player come the beginning of the season. I think that this will probably be the end of it. I think we will let him go. I don't think for free. I think we'll probably end up getting like a nominal, like Danny said, 1 million, 1.2 million for him, and that will be that, to be honest.
None of us want him to go, though, do we?
No, I don't want him to go, but I personally just don't see a way back. You know, you put it in works terms. If your manager, Danny, said, like, or Josh or whoever said, I want you to do this for me, and you stood up in front of all your workmates and you said, no, I'm not doing it. And then your manager said, well, you have to do it. And you stand up and say, I am not doing it. I don't care if you pay me. I'm not doing it. What would happen in the real workplace? We get fired. Okay, you're not going to fire Koscielny. Like, it's not how it works in football, but I just don't think he'll play for Arsenal again, personally.
I've done that 3 times. I've had 3 jobs and been fired from all 3. You won't be surprised to hear.
Oh, dear, Danny.
That's the 90s for you, though. In fact, 2 of them are the 80s.
How'd you get fired in the 80s?
Fuck knows. I wrote a list of the top 10 reasons the people who run this company are, I suppose, the polite way to put it now would be far-right extremists. But I used a word that you can't use now. But it was 1988, and you could jovially say stuff like that, and then they managed to find the list of 10 things. The main number one was, then they stop us from wearing our ties back to front, like when we were at school.
Oh,
and as I signed it at the bottom, and I handed it around to everyone, they fired me.
Why did you sign it?
Oh, because I didn't care. Because when I worked in Cambridge, they were just dickheads.
Well, I have noticed that the headmaster is here in the chat box. So straighten up, put your ties on straight, Danny. Jason's here.
No, you don't need to. This is a new style. We're not doing what our higher up say.
Our Welsh overlord.
Yeah, so we don't need to do it.
Are you guys going on strike? Is that what you're telling me?
London Underground. As a member of London Underground, I can't divulge when we'll be striking. So unfortunately, it's a case of turn up. If your train's there, well, hey. If it's not, 2 tears in the bucket. Fuck it, really.
There you go. That is customer service for you, as always. Should we talk instead of outgoings? Should we talk about an incoming as well? To bring some nostalgia, albeit some nostalgia that I don't really remember. Edu has come back to the club to be our technical director. I think the worst kept secret in Arsenal history, possibly, with him coming in. Danny, do you remember? Well, you must remember Edu as a player.
Yeah.
Have you got the background on him?
Yeah, I do. The reason why I support Corinthians is because we bought Silvino from them in about 98, 99. And then, hold on. I was going to burp. I've had some fizzy pop, and there's another one. Yeah, so that's why I support Corinthians. And when we bought him, I thought, that's another Corinthians, another Brazilian player coming to us. And when he came to us, I don't think he played. And I'm sure he hasn't played any games for Brazil. And then as soon as he joined us, he was. Me and Karl were talking beforehand. He was the bloke who came in chronological order before Edu, but after Petit. but before Gilberto. So in that little thing, so he couldn't really, when Petit was there, he couldn't really make that position his own. Just kind of defensive midfielder. Scored quite a few goals when he did play. Just looking here at the, of course they haven't put in the number of seasons that he's played. Maybe if I go and have a look at the Portuguese Wikipedia, it'll tell you how many games he did play in those seasons. No one seems to give a damn about how many games he's played.
Whilst you're looking there, Yvonne has just come in with a donation.
Oh, cheers. She followed I was doing Twitch before this. Anybody likes Twitch, I was playing a hospital game with it, and Yvonne went and followed us on Twitch.
Thank you very much, Yvonne.
Yes.
Yvonne, we've got to do something now that Twitter's down because we're basically useless.
Twitter is defunct. But yeah, so I was saying that we bought him, we played him in that position because he couldn't get regular games. And when his contract was up, because it was in those days when we had no control over contracts, he decided to go off and play for Valencia. So he went there. We were quite sad that he went because he was a really good player. And in the time that he was with us, he managed to get 15, 20 caps for Brazil. It was that time when they were building up to the World Cup and they were just playing maybe 15, 20 games a season, and he managed to get all of his caps in a very short length of time. And so he went on a free transfer to Valencia, and he got injured as soon as he got there. So I did see that in the 3 seasons that he was there, he I think he must have played 1 in the first season, 3 or 4 in the second season, maybe 20, and then they cancelled his contract, and he went back to play for Corinthians. And I'm sure when he was with Corinthians, he went back there and they won the Copa America. Yeah, I'm just looking here. Yeah, won the Copa America with Brazil, the Confederations Cup with Brazil, and I think just after that is when Corinthians got back Roberto Carlos and the Ronaldo, and had all those playing in the glory days for Corinthians before they all retired. But player I really liked, really friendly bloke. I think if he'd have come a couple of years later, he would have cemented his place ahead of Petit because Petit went off to Barcelona. But then we might not have got Gilberto, and Gilberto was ahead of him. So if you're looking in that defensive midfield role, you've got Vieira number 1. I would say Gilberto number 2, probably Petit and Vieira joint number 3 in that position. That's what you like. A nice short answer.
Yeah, thanks, Danny. As always. In that time as well, Arian Hadari has come in with a donation of 5. I think that's Canadian dollars, Danny. So that will round up nicely for you. And he said it was nice enough for John Welsh to feed all starving children. Next up, he'll donate 200 million to Arsenal to fund Mbappe.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I think I've missed something. Unless John Welsh...
Is John there?
No. Does John look like a... Is it? I don't know. Does John Welsh look like Ozil? Maybe. Ozil did that, didn't he?
Did he? John Welsh wouldn't... The only thing John Welsh gives away is crabs. And I don't think starving children want them type of crabs. Because it takes a hell of a lot of them to make a half-decent meal, as Mr. Davis well knows.
Absolutely. Thank you, Arian, anyway. And Karl, what were your memories of Edu, and how do you think he's going to influence us? We've already seen one young Brazilian join the club this summer. Do you think we'll start seeing more of those coming through?
My memories of Edu, I can remember him scoring 2 goals against Chelsea one time, and I remember thinking, this guy's brilliant. Why isn't he starting every week? And then he'll play another game and be like, oh, he's shit. Where's Petit? So it was always mixed bag. I do remember Edu. I do remember him coming in and doing a job. He probably wasn't a superstar in the team at that time. And I remember him. I'm sure he also scored when we beat Inter Milan 5-1. Against when Henry got his hat trick. So I do remember him playing, and he was a player that, the non-superstar player. He came in, he did what he needed to do without being one of the more glamorous players of the squad. So yeah, what he'll do, I don't know. I think that the hope is that he'll unearth all these Brazilian gems, and in there we might find a Ronaldo, a Kaká, a Neymar, somewhere, down the line that we may get. And that's the hopeful wish. What he'll do, time will tell. We can't really judge him at the moment because I don't know much of his work that he actually did in Brazil beforehand.
He was the job that he did for the Brazil national team. He had that job at Corinthians after he retired.
So hopefully he'll come in and he will, like I said, he'll come in and unearth some gems, and they'll play for us, score lots of goals, and then ship them off to Barcelona for 400 million. So, Yeah, so we could sort of judge him by what happens. We can't talk about his job now and say, "Oh, he's shit, he's blah blah." Let's just see what happens and then go for that. I think.
Someone said, Josh, I heard on a podcast that as he's had connections with Brazil and they've helped Brazil, guided them in whatever way he did to winning the Confederation. Is it the Confederations Cup? No, Copa America.
Copa America.
Yeah, and that there's been a whole load. They've won that of a load of players. Well, a certain amount of players that are still playing in Brazil, like Everton. I thought it was the old Everton who played for Everton, but it isn't. But hopefully, like Karl was just saying, he might be able to persuade some of those to come to Arsenal and then flog them to Barcelona, so then Stan can buy himself some more ranch cows.
Yeah, I think we saw that with the Martinelli signing as well that came in earlier in the window, because he was training with the senior Brazil squad before they kind of left for the Copa America. He was part of that kind of group. So
and you don't see Takuma Asano training with the Brazil national team, do you?
I think maybe because he's Japanese. That's probably the first thing that holds him back. But we've got a donation from Gary as well, Gary Donahue. I believe he's an ITK because, the big Gary convention where all Garys get together. Apparently Gary Cahill is incoming. We have been warned. Thank you very much for your donation, Gary, as well.
I'd rather have Gary Lineker come than Gary Cahill.
Oh,
you jug-eared twat.
In all seriousness, would anyone actually take if Koscielny left as a stopgap? Would you actually take Gary Cahill?
I mean,
play football for a season.
Stop the gap
for a season. Would you take Gary Cahill for a season?
No.
I
wouldn't even take him for a game.
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't even give him the time. I wouldn't even let him park in the Arsenal car park. If he was homeless and living in his car, to him to fucking sling his hook. So, no.
All right.
There we go.
Would you then, Karl?
No, I'm just.
What would you fucking ask us for? You trying to trick us?
I was just seeing if anyone would actually.
You were laying a trap.
I was not. I was just seeing if you lot were.
You were laying a trap, much like that time you took a picture and you were tucked. We thought it was a lady. You trapped us then. You trapped us again.
Oh.
Gareth Barry's on a free though. Danny Alves, there's another one. De Rossi.
He's brilliant. He's Brazilian, isn't he?
Frank Ribery's retired. It says here Adebayor's on a free.
I'll take De Rossi.
Yeah, why not?
Go.
Your Italian flair. Bit of style. Give Bellerin a run for his money.
Oh, we get Pirlo back, right?
Oh, imagine that.
So should we go on to positions that we still need to address? We haven't really addressed any of them.
We just bought another striker and we got two of the best strikers in the Premier League. Well done.
So we, presuming on outgoings, we've got Koscielny. Are we fairly certain he's gone now?
No, I think they won't let him go.
Fair enough. Do we need to replace him then, irrespective if we let him rot?
I don't think it's just a case of replacement. I think when you look at who isn't, we got. I think the days of Monreal playing at left back are gone, aren't they? Because we're going to get that bloke from Celtic. I mean, Celtic, if they got any sense, no one else. We'll get him for 18 million. That bloke whose name I can't remember. And then so we got Monreal playing at centre back, Holding, who's not going to be fit until maybe September, October. By the time he's match fit, and then Koscielny, Papi. We have to get rid of Papi because Jason doesn't like him. And who else we got that can play there? Oh, Mustafi, the ginger wonder. So we Mavropanos. Yeah, I don't rate Mavropanos. I think he needs to possibly go out and do a loan. Chambers, well, he plays all over the place. So I think we haven't got anyone that you'd go. For me, it'd be Papi was being my first name down on the team sheet. And it depends, I suppose, whether Emery next season is going to play three at the back, whether he's going to play two centre backs, doesn't it?
Indeed, I think. Like you, Danny, I think Socrates is probably the only out and out centre back we've got. Mustafi, I'd love him to go if I'm really honest, but at the moment there's no inclination of him actually ever leaving. So I think we're going to keep him for another year. Mavropanos not good enough. Callum Chambers, is he actually a centre back? Is he a right back? Is he a holding midfielder? Who knows? Koscielny, don't think he'll be at the club anymore. We still need a right back as well because Bellerin's not going to be fit for the start of the season, and we don't have a right back. So does Callum Chambers play there? Does Carl Jenkinson play?
Well, Chambers did play there quite a bit for Middlesbrough when they went from three at the back to playing 4 at the back. I went from 4 to 3. He was playing at right back, but then they got relegated. Not his fault.
Do we play Maitland-Niles there continuously? So at the moment, we definitely still need a right back. That's for sure. For the start of the season, at least anyway, because Hector Bellerin won't be fit for the start of the season.
Yeah. Thank you to Michael Hahnemann as well, who's coming with a £5 donation as well.
Cheers, Michael.
Next captain for you, no matter what happens.
Josh.
Because
Josh, look in the chat box. There's someone with my surname.
Oh God.
It's my brother. It's his birthday today. He's 45. Happy birthday to you. I remember this time 45 years ago. I was going, shove it back in, kill it. That is actually my brother Michael, and it is his birthday, but he hates football. So fuck him.
Wow. Well, this is the best place if you want to know nothing about football.
We'll help you.
We'll help you. We'll help you out. But happy birthday to you, Michael, as
Happy
well.
birthday, Michael.
Maybe you can be our next captain. So yeah, we were talking about Carl Jenkinson living his best life, maybe being called upon to play right back.
How the fuck is he still at the club?
I'm just happy he's still there, to be honest. I don't think anybody should get angry over their bowl of cornflakes that Jenkinson is still at the club.
He's there because he signed the ting. That's why he's there.
Hey,
you know what? Like, I'm not mad at him. I'm really not. Like, he comes in and he tries really hard. So I genuinely am not mad. It's just a shock that he's still at the club.
I'm like the scene in Anchorman when Baxter eats a whole wheel of cheese out of the fridge. I am Will Ferrell. I'm Ron Burgundy, just going, I'm not even mad. If he just, causes a defensive error and we concede, I'm not even mad. I'm just impressed you're still here, mate.
But how many clubs has he been offered to as a part exchange? I heard that we offered him in part exchange to West Ham for Hammy the Hammer, for another mascot. I like Karl, and he is living the life. 40 grand a week for playing for the club being at the club that you supported as a kid. Imagine all the Arsenal duvet covers he can buy with that and all the curtains.
Oh, he gets them for free now. He's living his best life.
Well, I heard he works part time in the club shop. That's the only way they're getting value for money.
Oh, dear. Formerly Nova has gone with Jenkinson is a legend. And I saw someone, who is it? Adil Sikar has gone for Jenko for armband. Yeah.
No.
Jenkinson.
We have lost. Out of our 5 captains from last season, 2 have left the club. 1 wants to leave the club. 1 I'd happily drive out of the club, and that only leaves. Who's the other one?
Czech retired.
Yeah. So Czech and Ramsey are gone. Ozil should go. Kos doesn't want to be here anymore.
And then
Still got Xhaka.
Oh, Jesus, don't mention that. People have a fucking meltdown.
I think they already are. That's why Twitter broke.
Yeah, they knew we were going to talk about it.
Yeah.
So going on to the midfield then.
We should say on the defence, Tierney's still having his medical. I think he's the next Yang and Villa.
God, like, it's just
great days.
Yeah. Whether we get him or not is yet to be seen, I guess. We'll see.
Yeah. Sorry, Carl. Midfield.
Midfield. So, do you think Elneny stays at the club?
So I think people were a bit harsh with Elneny. The only reason he didn't look too good last season, like Jenkinson, is because he came in with 5 minutes to go, didn't he, in the season?
Yeah, he needed time to build up to the certain games. Like, you can't just throw him in and expect him to be world class. I totally understand that. However, I think the time of us having passengers have gone. We can't afford just to have people in the squad for the sake of having people in the squad. And that's what I feel that Elneny is. Yes, he does come in and he does a job, but I guess when you play an axis of Elneny and Guendouzi, like, you're never going to get anywhere because it's going to be sideways pass in like Pales, bring back days of Denilson. But I still think we need to replace Ramsey. Sorry, Jason, please don't cry. We definitely need to replace him because we still need a box-to-box midfielder, someone to go along to link up with the strikers as well. I know that should be Ozil's job, but the less said about Ozil, the better, to be honest. Danny, calm down. But I think that we have to replace Rambo or get not a like-for-like replacement, because there is not going to be a player like Rambo, but we need a box-to-box midfielder in the mold of Aaron Ramsey, if that makes sense. Do you agree, Josh?
I wouldn't have someone in the mold of Aaron Ramsey. I don't think he's the player we need. which is one reason why we let him go. I think we do need, we obviously need a player in midfield. We've seen Willock get promoted. Again, he's not necessarily the solution, but we need someone that can dribble with the ball. Ramsey was not the best on the ball. Excellent with his movement and going up the field, but he'd never carry the ball out. And when you've got the likes of Xhaka, Torreira, Guendouzi in our midfield and Elneny, we need someone who can get the ball off them, drive 30, 40 yards up the field, give it to Ozil, give it to Mkhitaryan, give it to Iwobi, who can then provide that ball into kind of Lacazette or into Aubameyang as well. And yeah, you know what, Jason, Iwobi's turned up in the Africa Cup of Nations. I haven't seen Ramsey there at all. What's he doing?
He's busy holding hands with Ronaldo.
Yeah, where's he? He's just on the sick bed. Last time I saw, he had probes all over him, getting checked out. Another day in the injury room for
a couple of names in the chat box that people have said. Winston has said Ziyech from Ajax, who's had a magnificent season last season. That is someone I'd really like to see. Archie has put... What?
Did he miss a penalty in the African Cup of Nations? The 90th minute?
Who? Iwobi?
No, Ziyech.
I don't know. I only watched one game, Egypt, South Africa, and Egypt lost, so dead to me. And Archie says Fekir, because Fekir was meant to have joined, on the verge of joining Liverpool last season for 60 million. He had a medical, failed it, and now he's at a cut price 30 million. We've had this before, haven't we, with Overmars? Nobody wanted Overmars because he only had one leg. Leg grew back. Magnificent player.
Yeah, absolutely. Was there anyone else, Karl, that you kind of think? I think we've seen Decore being mentioned in there. I think Ndombele was mentioned, but unfortunately he's decided to belittle himself and go to a lesser side. Maybe Christian Bielik. Is he the solution to all our problems?
It's amazing how people are shitting their pants over Bielik possibly going. He's done nothing. He's had one. I want to keep him, but he's had one loan at Birmingham halfway through the season 3 seasons ago. The next season he was injured the whole season, and he tried to go to Walsall, didn't get any games with them. And then last season he went to a 3rd tier team and got them to finish 3rd place and get promotion. Yeah, and AC Milan want him, do they? Well, what do they want him for? Fucking tea lady. I mean, he may be a good player, but he's done fuck all. He's not Premier League ready. He's not even League Cup ready. People are going mad about it. Oh, we can't let him go. What does it matter? He's missed 3 years of his career. There are people like Zach Medley that are ready to step into that place. And Zach Medley's what, 18, 19? He's missed his bus.
Yeah, Karl, talking about missing buses, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I have it reliably informed that Thomas Lemar is coming in. I can't say who told us Thomas Lemar the deal's already done.
Is Malcolm driving him?
It's a little guy who has a team in Plymouth, but you know, they said about that the better. Shush. We're not gonna talk about. Do you know what? I don't know a name of who we need. I can't pinpoint one particular player who it is that we actually really need. However, I just know that we need a midfielder because our numbers at the moment are very weak in midfield. I don't think we have any quote-unquote attacking midfielders in the centre. You can talk about Ozil, and we do have Ozil. However, if you're talking about Guendouzi, is he an attacking midfielder? No. Torreira, is he attacking midfielder? No. Granit Xhaka, is he? No. Elneny, is he? No. Mkhitaryan, you could put in an argument.
One game a season, usually against Everton.
Yeah, so I just think that we are missing someone who can sit in the centre of midfield and attack, and also we're missing wide players. We genuinely have no wide midfielders at all. You're talking about square pegs around holes. You're talking about putting Mkhitaryan there. Josh's lover boy, Iwobi, you know, he'll turn up for a couple games and go missing for 17 games. So is he ready to be our out-and-out attacking left, right, whatever you want to put side, you want to put him on midfielder? I don't know. We need wingers. So there are a number of positions in defence and midfield that we actually need.
Well, it's a good thing that that's the only thing we've really been linked with, Karl, is wingers. We've had Malcolm, some twant at Crystal Palace.
100 million, I'd buy 2 of him.
That would get you Selhurst Park and allow you to
hell.
level it. and get rid of that pointless club in Croydon.
Okay, so I know we'll glance over it quickly. Would you take Zaha for 50 million?
No.
Danny?
The ink wouldn't be dry on the contract before he's urging for a move to Man City, Real Madrid, or Barcelona. The bloke's an absolute tool.
I wouldn't take him for 50 million yen. Let's put it that way.
So you don't think that he would improve our squad in any way, shape, or form?
No, he probably would, yeah, but it'd just annoy me that he's a diva and a diver and something else beginning with D. A dickhead. I just don't like the cut of his jib. I think he's a little bit like Sanchez. Everything has to run around him for him to be a half decent player. And he's been a half decent, their best player. But I think if he came to Arsenal, he would realise that it's not all about him and you have to work as a team. And I don't think that's going to suit him.
So here's a question. Would you have paid £30 million for Perez, who just went to Leicester from Newcastle? I asked that to the chat box as well. Because they had identical stats.
It all depends, doesn't it? Because when Perez was at Newcastle for the first half of the season, they were playing him in the kind of 10 position, or midfield, an 8 or a 10. Yep. And then in January, they moved him out wide, and that's when he was his pants caught fire, and he was amazing. So it depends where you're going to play him. But yeah, so he's a decent player.
And then Zaha was put up front for them for a bit. He only got 10 goals and 10 assists. No, there's a lot. Ryan Fraser, I think we've been linked with there. What about the players that we've currently got, Karl? We've had Reece Nelson, who, according to some reports, tore, the Bundesliga a new arsehole. To more normal reports, he had an okay season. And Smith Rowe, do you think we could see those players cement a place?
In all honesty, I think we've got no choice. I think there is going to be a time where you're going to see these players, the Reece Nelsons, the Smith Rowes, they're going to be playing, I personally think, 10 games plus in the Premier League, because it's Arsenal. We're going to have injuries. At present, we just don't have the personnel in the squad to, I personally think, that even to challenge. So I think, the likes of Smith Rowe and definitely the rest of them will definitely play 10 games plus in the Premier League, but just to challenge, even at least, just to bring them in, because the fixture congestion is going to be bad as well. The Europa Leagues, the Sunday, Thursdays. That's going to take its toll. Throw in a League Cup here and there, throw in an FA Cup. It's going to be really, really congested, our fixture. So yeah, I think these players will definitely come in and try and have an impact, and hopefully they will.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just going to answer Jose Jimenez's question about if any of ABW are coming to the States for the pre-season. Jason is going to the games in Cali, I believe, with Chris Lodato is going as well. As one of the FIFA groups. So yeah, Jason will be out there. I believe he will sign all manner of things for you for a special cut-down price of one chicken wing.
And the later on in the night it goes, the more likely he is to be sick on you or make a pass on you. So once the beer starts getting in him.
It's not just the beer with Jason now. Yes. Anyway.
Stop that, because he'll find you and kill you.
Well, that Jason would definitely kill me. The other one, the ginger, my fellow ginger, would be fine. We need to stick together. Absolutely. We've got Eddie Nketiah as well. What do we think for his kind of progress for next season? Is he a player we need to kind of go out on loan, or do you think he's coming in to kind of replace the Welbeck?
What do you reckon, Karl?
I'm hoping he is. I forgot about Welbeck leaving, to be honest. See, there's another player on the wings that we could have used that we don't have anymore. So, yeah, Eddie Nketiah would definitely have to play his fair share of games as well. I mean, I would love that Aubameyang and Lacazette play 50 games this season and never get injured and never need a rest. But unfortunately, life isn't like that. So Nketiah is going to have to come in, because if you get one of our strikers injured, whether Lacazette or Iwobi, Nketiah is going to have to be the understudy. He's going to have to come in and, hopefully do a job for us. He needs to step up, and the only way he can step up is to actually get games, and not just 10 minutes at the end, and not just 15 minutes here, then he needs to get some really good game time. Against like these shitty teams like Norwich, you can play Nketiah up front because what the fuck is Norwich? Norwich is six-fingered web-toed people. So players people like that, he can come in. Like, in all seriousness, League Cup games he needs to start, no matter who it is. If we draw Man City in the third round of the League Cup, start Nketiah, because that's the only way he's going to get the experience to play.
I think he's like someone just put here. Oh, it's bloody moved up, hasn't it? Kurt Garnett says, Nketiah, maker. What are you giggling at?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Just Jason's comment about that your brother is grumpy today. I was just about to say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Yeah, he's stoned all the time. That's why he manages to keep it together. Yeah, but it's with Eddie. This is his make or break season. Personally, I think a whole load of these players like Emile Smith-Rowe and Reece Nelson, I think we're going to keep them at the club until Christmas, because that's when, or just after Christmas, when the group stages of the Europa League are over, and when we crash out of that in 4th place. Now, when we get through to the next round of that, I think that's like this last season we saw in Smith-Rowe go on loan, and I think a few others will do that, because we do need the bodies, because those games are going to be coming thick and fast. And we need as many players around as we can. Plus, you don't really want to be sending all of our best players to go and play away games in Djibouti, Tajikistan, or wherever it is we're going to be playing games. And but I don't overly rate Eddie. I think as a youth player, he was magnificent. And last season, he scored 7 goals in 9 games for the under-23s. But when you have people like Balogun coming through, and you have John Judge Jules, the Ministry of Sound bloke, those two are scoring at an alarming rate. They were both top goal scorers for our teams in the under-18 and I think the under-23s. I'm sure one of those was. And they're the two. I mean, if you look at Nketiah, he is absolutely tiny. He's you need to go stick him in, make him sleep in baby bio, because he is tiny. I know that makes him nippy, and we saw him score a goal at the end of last season, but I think he's too small to be able to get to become the backup to Lacazette and Aubameyang. I could maybe even see somebody else coming in to be the backup to those two. But we do need someone. I think the other two are a little bit too young.
Yeah, absolutely.
And probably not ready.
So I think we could go into that's the whole squad gone through. I'm assuming with left goalkeeper out, we're kind of okay with Martinez as backup.
Definitely.
And Leno, where is that?
And Leno's got the number 1 shirt now, which makes my OCD feel a little bit better.
Yeah, absolutely. So my question was going to be to the chat box and ask you, do you have any questions? And I have seen some have started coming in. So whilst I start collating them, Danny, do you want to read some questions out that I've already put in the box?
Yeah, before I do that, Brandon has put Martinelli as the backup. I think Martinelli, is he 17? I don't think he's the backup to those two at all. I think he'll be playing in the under-23s next season, unless we can get him out on loan to a Spanish team, second division team, like we usually do. It'll be a touch of the Joel Campbells, and who was the other one? Wellington Silva. Dear.
Fortunately, he's got a work permit for the UK.
Oh, how did he get that?
He's half Italian, or his granddad's Italian, or
that explains the surname. Dro's put Dawidge on a free. No, because he's busy looking for his dog. So, questions, Josh. The very first one. No, that's not one. I've asked Karl to turn his volume up. Don't know if he did that. From Dro the Gooner, would you take Tottenham's Toby Alderweireld, Josh?
No.
They've been linked for 25-30 million, isn't he?
Yeah, I think that release clause, I think someone corrected me that it wasn't for Arsenal. It was for everybody else.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was a clause in the contract.
Yeah. So, and to be honest, he plays on the right side of the defence, and we've got Socrates there as backup, and then, as first choice. I don't think we'd really want to bring in another person to compete with him that's of a similar age. We need left side, which is where Kos is, where Holding is, and Mavropanos. That's the kind of weak side of our defence. I think we should look at someone else to really come in rather than Alderweireld.
What do you think, Karl? Because having the likes of Holding, Mavropanos at the club, young players that are coming back to the first team, do we really need to get a player who is going to demand first team football? Because that's just one less chance those two have got of playing games and getting better.
If you're good enough, you're getting Danny. Like this whole shit about you're stifling the young players coming through. No. If you're good enough, you'll play. If you're not good enough, you won't. And I think that's the kind of line that Arsenal need to go down right now. We can't just be not buying players for the hope that one of our players might make it. The time for the future is gone now. Project Youth didn't work, so we need to do Project right now.
Fair enough. Right. Adil says, does Ozil start your first game? I say definitely, because our first game is against Colorado Rapids, and as doesn't Kroenke own Colorado Rapids? We could loan him to Colorado Rapids. I'd quite happily see him playing our first game of the season and stay there all season. Oh dear, what's your thoughts on that, Karl?
I will do the more pragmatic answer, which is really talk about, which is away to Newcastle.
Oh, is that what he means?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Does he start against Newcastle in the team that we have now? Yeah, he does, I guess. He has to. We don't. I think that he has to. Hopefully, he has a good preseason. Hopefully, his attitude changes, and the coaching staff sees something in him that he can finally go north of the Watford gap, go up to Newcastle and assist or get some goals. He needs to do better than he did last season. Last season was a very bad season for Ozil. His stats were terrible, and hopefully, like Danny says all the time, at the start of the season, everyone gets a clean slate. Every single person, the coaching staff, everyone gets a clean slate until the second game of the season, and we lose, obviously. But no, in all honesty, I'm going to judge Ozil cleanly. Last season is gone, it's finished. New season coming about now, and hopefully that he will kick on and do something good.
Do you wash your hands, Josh?
Yes, that's why it took me a little bit longer.
Oh, very good. And putting them down the toilet as the toilet's flushing does not count as washing your hands, people. It's very childish.
No, do it at the top of it instead.
Lovely. Yeah, take the cistern off. We're just talking about, does Ozil start the first game of the season? I said yes, because I will have loaned him out to Colorado Rapids.
It's away to Newcastle, isn't it?
Yeah.
So probably not.
It's too far north.
That's what I'm saying. Hopefully he goes north of the Watford gap this season.
Yeah.
Karl made a good point that he should start the season with a clean slate and just let him start again, but I don't think that's going to make any difference.
Yeah, I think with pre-season under his belt, you'd hope to see that happen. Yeah, I think so. I think he would start and give him that kind of option to sort his life out. I think, unfortunately, after the first game of the season, there isn't a huge amount still. What was I thinking of? There isn't much chance to get rid of him.
Sadly, you'd think with any Premier League club, if you got someone and introduced them to football and just had to look for stats alone, and then you saw that Arsenal had Aubameyang, Lacazette, and Ozil playing as their front three, you think, well, they're going to win the league, aren't they? No, and we're all thinking we're going to maybe finish top 10 if we're lucky. Life has been a gooner. Right, Richard, start with this, you, Josh, for this one. Richard Garrett says, can we talk about how Edu will, the Invincible... Talk about the impact our new Invincible coach might have, as in Edu. So what's your thoughts on that, Josh?
I think you're talking about
Freddie.
Freddie.
Is he?
Yeah, Freddie.
Oh,
Freddie.
cool. Yes.
They did the old job swap, didn't they? With Steve Bold.
Had Edu, wasn't Edu an Edu was an Invincible as well? You didn't differentiate there.
Edu's not a coach, is he?
See, I'm not even thinking about what I'm reading. I just read it like I'm told. I've got no idea what's going on. So, next question. How do you think Freddie Ljungberg's going to do as an assistant manager?
I think his kind of job is to kind of bring through everybody that he was almost coaching last season, wasn't he?
Hopefully.
Doing that kind of job swap. So it'd be interesting to see whether or not Ljungberg stays in that position for a couple of seasons, or if we see him do it like at the end of next season, we see Steve Bold and they do that switch again to kind of give them that kind of idea of, well, you've coached the under-23s last season, you'll then have better idea of what the under-23s can bring to the game, or whether or not this is just us promoting Ljungberg up. And I think there's even rumours that we've kind of penciled him as and he's going to get tarred with this brush now, the next Pep Guardiola, kind of coach.
Well, they are both bald.
Season. I think that might be where the similarities end. Freddie's never been done for...
Easy, allegedly.
Okay, allegedly. They've both had suspect packages. Should we say that?
Cheeky. Karl, do you think Freddie's going to do more than just put the cones out and sit there quietly during match games, fingers on lips?
Yeah, I think he's going to be more vocal than Steve Bold. Well, I'm hopeful.
Hopefully, we'll go, do you know who I fucking am? I won the Invincible, me. Look, I've got medals and everything.
Well, maybe he should do that. But no, in all seriousness, I think he's got to be a bit more vocal. Steve Bold, all he ever done was clap when we scored a goal or put his head in his hands when we conceded. Which is why he's gone bald, because he says his head was in his hands a lot. But no, I do want Freddie Ljungberg to have a positive impact on the team and coaching, and hopefully he can bring a few youth players that he worked with last season, and they can have a positive impact on the squad as well. Like I said, this is a clean slate now for Arsenal. I think that last season happened. It was a shit last season. It was terrible, but let's crack on and fresh new season. Let's go.
Yeah, and it's a real shame for Steve Bold, because if you're old enough, you remember him as an absolute legend of an Arsenal player and a really good coach. Worked his way up through the under-18s and the under-21s, I think, at Arsenal. Got to become assistant manager just at the wrong time, and he didn't really fit in with Emery's plans. I think he just wanted a connection between the first team and the new managerial side of it. And Steve Bold is a magnificent coach, a magnificent bloke, and a magnificent player. And he deserves a lot more respect for what he has done in his career than he seems to be getting by just sitting on the bench and people laughing at him. Laugh at the situation, just not at the bloke, because he'll find out where you are and he'll kill you. Right, next question from Mr. Jason Davies. I think he might well be French. He says, Josh, is Nketiah taller than the Pirate?
I believe so, because I've heard that the Pirate steals things in the night. And he's one of them borrowers.
Oh. Socks are never safe when you're around the carpenter. Karl, any issues on that on someone who's 9'8"?
Yeah, Nketiah's at least 2 foot taller than the Pirate.
Fair enough.
And he's better at football.
Right, while I have you, one from Archie for you, Karl. Do you think we will be fighting United for 6th next season, as they are in a state like us and they are throwing money out of the window like that bloke in Wall Street? No, not Wall Street. What was the Wolf of Wall Street? Throwing money around with gay abandon and only going to end up getting themselves in shit.
You say that, but you never know. At least they're spending money.
Yeah, Wan-Bissaka, one season, he's suddenly worth 50 million.
I know. That's
they learnt their lesson with Sanchez and Pogba, haven't they?
I don't think we'll get it. I think we're fighting for 4th place, because I don't think Chelsea will be fighting for Champions League. So I think you've got the top 2 who are going to be doing what they're doing, and that's fine. You've got the scum. And unfortunately, you have to kind of count them in, because they done well-ish last season, and they've added to their squad, so you have to count them in. So I think it's between. I think this season we're fighting for 4th. So us and Man United are definitely fighting for 4th.
Any thoughts on that, Josh?
Yeah, I think I kind of agree with Karl. You got to be positive, right? It's kind of interesting. I'm currently in an office with so there's an Arsenal fan, a United fan, and a Newcastle fan, and we have no idea who's having the worst pre-season at the moment.
All going down.
We're all fighting it at the moment, going, no, ours is worse. And I think the trump card of it was that earlier this morning when I went, my captain has just refused to go on tour when the Newcastle fan just said Sam Allardyce has turned us down. We didn't. Yeah.
No one wants to work with the Ashley.
Yeah. Do I think we would be fighting with United? I think it will be close between the two of us. It depends on kind of what moves they do. They've kind of gone horribly sensible with their window, haven't they? With the likes of Wan-Bissaka coming in, and they got Dan James in from Swansea.
Valencia's gone. I think Ashley Young is gone.
I think they're buying in the places that they actually need. So the positions that they need, they got rid of Ashley Young, which is a major improvement, to be honest, on them. And they brought in a winger who is lightning quick. I mean, I've got no doubt that Bellerin will fucking catch him up next season and tackle him. But it's like Josh said, they are being sensible. And if they get rid of Lukaku, which it looks like they just might do, who's to know who they're going to bring in to replace him. So
I mean, on the upside, they gave a striker who scored less than 10 goals in the season for them 250 grand a week
Lovely.
in a new contract. So the old United is still there. I think I'd be a little bit more worried about, and it's a sad state of affairs when we've got to start looking behind us, and it's not because we're at the top of the table. The likes of what Wolves are doing, Everton, Leicester a little. So I think they've built a midfield of a lot of promise, but nothing that really screams hugely worried. They've still got the Irish David Brent in charge of them. So I think be okay from that, but it is that kind of trio that are kind of pushing and they can kind of smell blood. I think, with Fat Frank going to Chelsea, I think we've certainly got a chance. Solskjaer, again, not a great manager. So I think with where we've kind of got, I think fourth could be there for the taking. But I said the same last season, and look what bloody happened.
Well, if you're Chris, I mean, we're going to win the league, obviously, innit? Because remember, Pep is overrated. Liverpool are shit. The scum are the scum. So apparently, according to Chris, we're going to win the league.
Definitely. Right. I think there's a bit of cyberbullying going on here. Josh, it's from Mr. Davis again. He says, is Josh wearing stripes as they are slimming?
I'm already slim. That's the difference. If Jace wore stripes, he'd look fat.
He would look like a zebra with worms. Right, final question. I think that's it. It's from Adil again. He says, if we don't finish in the top 4, do you give Emery another year? If not, would you give Freddie the chance, Karl?
If we don't finish 4th, Emery's got to go. And do I give Freddie the chance? No. Simple answer.
No, you have a go at this, Josh. See if you can get more than 30 seconds out of it.
You've listened to some of my ex-girlfriends. Do you think we could, if we don't finish top 4? Yeah, Emery's contract comes,
with a clause.
At the end of the season. He's only signed a 2-year deal. If we don't make 4th, then we should start again. I think, to be honest, even if we do get top 4, we should review the situation anyway, because it might be that we flukes it and it's not something we can really build on top of. I'd rather have a look. If Freddie the man to do it, probably not after a season. We saw how well him and what's his face? Who was the old youth guy? The Dutch.
They both went to Wolfsburg together.
Yeah, they ran off to Wolfsburg.
Dead to me. I can't remember his name.
No. But I think after that kind of situation, I don't want to be doing the United thing or the Chelsea thing where we're bringing in a terribly inexperienced coach.
It's inevitable.
It worked for Barcelona when they did it, and it worked for Real Madrid. But also look at their squads. It kind of really helps when you've got Messi or Ronaldo to kind of help you out. We don't really have anybody of that quality. Jonker is the
Mad Yonkers. He was there for 5 minutes, then got sacked.
Yeah, and we only brought Freddie back, and I think that says everything about it. So I would look to bring someone in from somewhere else rather than look to promote from within. To be honest, as lovely as it is, all that nostalgia, it's just nostalgia bollocks.
I wouldn't be surprised if when it comes to February, March time and we're 20, 30 points behind the leaders through no fault of our own, just that those two are just so more powerful, superior, more money, better players, better organised, longer into their new tenure of managers for having moved everything around. Because remember, Klopp didn't have the greatest first season or so, did he? I reckon if Emery isn't where they want him to be and we're not doing well in the Europa League, I reckon he could be gone maybe the second part of the season. March, April, sometime like that, and then they'll put Freddie in temporary charge because I think they got Emery in to do one job, and if you haven't done that job, son, you're out.
So we're going to start the hashtag Freddie to the end of the season.
Give it to Freddie to the end of the season.
Yeah, he's got a new Brian kicks. Bloody hell!
I like Emery though. I think he can do it. It just needs to have an entire squad of fully fit players playing to their best ability, and
Yeah,
no
but
more
that's gonna happen, isn't
losing
it, Danny?
your best right back, one of the best right backs in the league, having losing Ramsey out for the season, having lightweights who are just not bothering to play because they can't be fucking bothered. Too many things, but I think we can still do it.
It's as you say, it's kind of an issue that we've had before. Ramsey not with us for the whole season.
I mean, we don't have to worry about that this season, do we? Losing Ramsey for the rest of the season because we don't have him.
Yeah, he's already injured.
Might be able to get him on loan, luckily, if Juventus doesn't work out. All right, Josh, that's all the questions done.
Yeah, thank you very much. And thank you, chat box. I haven't done an angry shout at everybody to say, please, could you like and subscribe? But I will say, we're going to do a whole season like we did last season.
Oh,
and if you want to remember when we're on, I think there are 6,000 lovely people that are subscribed to us.
Tappy.
Is that right? 6,000?
Yeah, just over 6,000. What we're going to do, we've got a little DM that we're going to send out to everybody who follows the podcast account on Twitter. So I expect 30,000 of you to get a DM hassling you to go and follow us on
sliding
YouTube.
in like John on a Friday night.
Oh,
Yeah, we will even cuddle you afterwards. Warming embrace. So yeah, if you do want to always remember when we go live, we'll go live at the 10 minutes after every game.
Hopefully.
I think we're going to do some pre-season ones as well because we are on the right side of some people's time zones for that one. Karl might even take time from whatever he's doing, putting his feet up as he does his night shifts.
I ain't fucking Ellis flipping. Oh no, I've got to take someone's blood or take a pee bottle. Fuck off, Ellis. Fuck you, Ellis. Fuck Ellis.
And if we sign any players that have gone through puberty, we should do a live show like we did last season.
Yes, absolutely. So if you do want to know when those are happening, if you click the little bell icon, you'll get a notification to tell us we are going live a little bit like we did tonight.
Talking of notifications, Josh, when we started this, in the top right-hand corner, I had a little note that's saying Hangouts is closing on the 1st of August. So fuck knows what they expect us to do. I can use OBS, and I think John can use OBS. But I don't think Jason could spell OBS, let alone use OBS. So we're going to have to look into what they're going to do with that. Because YouTube have got something working here that works brilliantly for everybody. And now they're going to go and fuck with it because they're lovely, lovely people.
Yeah,
they might be watching. They might be Arsenal fans.
Oh, if they are, they've already topped themselves.
Oh, geez.
Oh, God. Right. Let's finish this off now. And I will say thank you to the chat box. You have been fantastic, as always. I need to remember, Danny, have you got the list of everybody that donated, or am I going to go off the top of my head?
Well, if you can just keep going, then I can go and find out.
I think we had the Gary who was a friend of Gary Cahill. We had Yvonne.
Yep.
Michael Hanneman.
Yep.
Oh, and then there was another one.
Played us in Canadian dollary dues.
Oh, paid us Arian.
Yay!
Canadian
there you
dollary
go.
dues. Was that all four?
That's the 4.
Perfect. CJ, so I don't need to write it down. All in my head, like an elephant. But yeah, thank you, Karl. It's been great to talk to you.
Thank you very much. I shall be ruining people's journeys tomorrow. So, get on that tree, people. I can't believe we've got less than 50 likes. I'm going to go all Jason now and say thumbs up, people. Really? Less than 50 likes? I know Danny's on. You don't really want to see his ugly face, but 47 likes. Where's Jason's likes? Don't make him have to go all Welsh and start talking about he's going to throw leaks at you and things like that. Come on.
It's not right, is it? Don't make Josh take his top off like a scene from Highlander, jumping up and down on the sofa, screaming, "Tickle that moist thumbs up button, you bastards!" Makes no difference, really, does it? No. And to you, Danny, you've got to be here. I do, because I have the power to press go and stop. Yeah. And thank you for hosting, Josh. Thank you. It's been great. And you two can both turn on your lights when you get there. I don't believe I'm not far enough north for it to still be light up here. True. I've got a little light on there, but the other one's over there, and I've got no pants on, so I can't go and turn it on. Oh, lovely. Right. Danny, you know the drill. Turn this shit off. Yes.